Identity migration isn't just copying accounts to the cloud. It's choosing the right pattern for users, groups, passwords, and access, so people can sign in smoothly, stay secure, and keep working while you move from Active Directory to Entra ID. So far, you've built the path from Active Directory basics to hybrid identity design and sync implementation. Now the focus shifts from architecture to migration, moving real users, groups, passwords, and licenses. After that, we'll validate the results, troubleshoot issues, and plan rollback. At the object level, migration depends on knowing what each identity component becomes. Users may be synced from Active Directory, created as cloud-only accounts, or matched to accounts that already exist. Groups can represent security access, Teams and SharePoint collaboration, mail distribution, license assignment, or policy targeting. Password and authentication choices shape the sign-in experience during cutover. Licensing then connects identity to usable services. When these relationships are clear up front, migration becomes controlled instead of reactive. For synced users, on-premises Active Directory remains the system of record. User objects and core attributes are created and maintained there. Then synchronization publishes them into Microsoft Entra ID. That includes names, sign-in names, email addresses, proxy addresses, departments, job titles, and group membership. Authentication can use password hash synchronization or federation, allowing users to keep a familiar sign-in experience. The operational rule is simple. When Active Directory is authoritative, make most identity changes on-premises first, then let sync carry them into Entra ID. For cloud-only users, Microsoft Entra ID becomes the source of authority. These accounts are not tied back to on-premises Active Directory, so creation, attributes, passwords, MFA, conditional access, and licensing are managed in the cloud. This pattern works well for cloud-native employees, external admin accounts, test users, service identities, or organizations intentionally reducing AD dependency. The trade-off is governance. Without an on-premises anchor, you need strong naming standards, ownership, lifecycle automation, and privileged access controls to keep cloud identities secure and manageable. Many tenants already contain Microsoft 365 accounts before synchronization begins. Matching is how Entra ID determines that an existing cloud user and an on-premises AD user are the same person. Start by inventorying cloud users, then verify UPN, mail, and proxy addresses values to support soft matching. For more controlled alignment, confirm the sourceAnchor strategy and immutable ID values before syncing. Always test in a pilot scope first. A correct match preserves the user's mailbox, licenses, and access. A wrong match can bind the wrong identity, so validate matched objects before expanding synchronization. UPN planning is really sign-in planning. Before migration, make sure users authenticate with a rootable verified domain, such as user@company.com, not an internal suffix like company.local. Then check uniqueness anywhere the identity may exist. Entra ID, on-premises AD, other forests, and connected tenants. If the sign-in name changes, communicate early, because users experience that change immediately. Also, validate the supporting attributes: DNS domains, accepted domains, mail aliases, and proxy addresses. Small UPN mistakes can become sync failures, duplicate objects, or help desk spikes. Identity conflicts usually appear when sync stops behaving predictably. Two users may share the same SMTP alias, or a cloud account may already exist for someone in Active Directory. The sync engine may quarantine the object or report export and import errors. Don't force the sync. First, identify the authoritative source, then correct the attribute, merge or remove duplicates if needed, and adjust sync scope only when appropriate. Finally, validate the next sync cycle and document the decision, so later migration waves follow the same pattern. Group migration starts with purpose. Security groups protect resources, assign apps, and often drive group-based licensing, so accuracy matters. Distribution groups are mail-focused, which means exchange settings, owners, aliases, and delivery restrictions need attention. Microsoft 365 groups are broader collaboration containers, connecting Teams, SharePoint, Planner, and Outlook, so their dependencies travel together. Dynamic groups require special care because membership is calculated from rules. If those rules reference attributes that change during migration, access can shift unexpectedly. When groups move from legacy, Active Directory, and Exchange, treat them as dependencies, not just objects. Security groups may drive application access, conditional access targeting, and license assignment after synchronization into Entra ID. Distribution groups add mail routing, ownership, and management concerns, especially in hybrid exchange. The critical checks are membership accuracy, mail attributes, nesting, and owners. Nested groups deserve extra attention because cloud services do not always expand them the same way. This is also a cleanup moment. Remove stale groups, fix naming, and simplify before legacy complexity follows you into the cloud. Microsoft 365 groups are more than membership containers. They act as the identity backbone for collaboration services like Teams, SharePoint, Planner, and Outlook group mailboxes. Because one group can create access across several workloads, ownership is critical. Owners should manage membership, review whether the group is still needed, and understand the data being exposed. Governance policies add guardrails. Naming standards make groups discoverable. Expiration reduces abandoned workspaces, and sensitivity labels apply protection based on content. When reviewing older distribution or security groups, consider whether modernization into a Microsoft 365 group better supports collaboration. Dynamic groups turn identity data into automation. Instead of manually adding users to groups, Entra evaluates rules such as department equals sales, country equals UK, or job title contains manager. When a user matches, membership updates automatically, and group-based licensing can assign Microsoft 365, Entra ID, or app licenses without a ticket. The benefit is consistency and speed. The risk is bad data. A wrong department or stale user type can grant the wrong access, or remove access users still need. Pilot rules with a small scope, validate the results, and then connect them to production licensing. Password hash synchronization lets Entra ID authenticate, synced users without sending every sign-in back to your domain controllers. When a user changes a password in Active Directory, AD stores its password hash. The sync service processes that hash and sends a derived synchronized hash to Entra ID. Plain text passwords are never copied to the cloud. After the transition, users can sign into Microsoft 365 and other cloud apps directly through Entra ID, while MFA and conditional access still apply. Test with real synced accounts before broad rollout. At this stage, the goal is confidence before scale. Self-service password reset lets users recover access with verified methods, while password writeback keeps on-premises Active Directory aligned when cloud password changes occur. But configuration alone is not success. Test the real journeys: normal sign-in, password change, password reset, unlock after lockout, MFA prompts, and conditional access decisions. Then confirm the operational basics. Users and groups are in scope. Licenses are assigned, passwords sync correctly, and help desk procedures are ready. Expand cutover only after the pilot produces clean, repeatable results. Identity migration succeeds when each pattern is intentional. Choose the right user approach: synced, cloud only, or matched. Treat groups as business assets with clear ownership, membership, licensing, and modernization decisions. Plan password and authentication changes around user experience, security, and support readiness. Next, validate these choices, troubleshoot failures, and keep rollback ready before production pressure arrives.